Close your eyes and take a deep breath, letting the world slow down around you as your body begins to settle and your mind drifts gently towards stillness. In this calm space, let us begin a slow and thoughtful journey into a timeless question, one that has whispered through the ages like a soft breeze brushing the sails of a ship crossing a quiet sea. The question of identity, of transformation, of continuity, the paradox of the ship of Theseus. Imagine, if you will, a grand ship moored in a harbor long ago, a vessel of pride and strength, its wooden hull shining in the morning sun, each plank carefully carved, each nail hammered in by hands long past, and each rope tied with the precision of experience. This ship, named after the legendary Greek hero Theseus, has weathered great journeys, survived storms, and returned home to tell its tales through the creaking of its deck and the salt in its sails. Over the years, as with all things touched by time, the ship begins to age. The wood softens, the sails fray, and bit by bit, to keep it strong and seaworthy, its parts are replaced, one plank here, one mast there, a torn sail swapped out for a new one, a rusted nail pulled and replaced by another. And so, year after year, repair after repair, every piece of the original ship is slowly, gradually removed and substituted, until not a single original part remains. And yet, there she is, still floating in the harbor, proudly called the Ship of Theseus, still admired by all who knew her, still celebrated as the very same vessel that once carried the hero to his destiny. But now, a curious thought arises. If every part has been replaced, is it still the same ship? Has its identity endured, or has it become something else entirely? And to make the thought even more mysterious, imagine that all the discarded original pieces had been gathered carefully, stored, and eventually reassembled into a second ship, a perfect reconstruction using the exact components that once belonged to the original. Now two ships stand before us, one made of new parts, preserving the form and function of the vessel, the other made of the original materials, holding the substance of its past. Which of these, if either, is the real ship of Theseus? Or perhaps both are, or neither. Let your mind slowly swim in the waters of this question, without the pressure of solving it, simply letting the ripples of thought move gently across your consciousness like waves on a moonlit sea. This paradox does not ask to be answered, it simply asks to be felt. It invites you to explore the quiet spaces between change and continuity, between what we see and what we remember, between how something looks and what it truly means. In many ways, we are all like that ship, made of memories, experiences, and moments, each one shaping us and then fading into the past. Over time, our selves change, our ideas evolve, our surroundings shift, and yet we say with certainty, I am still me. But what makes that me stay constant through all the changes? Is it your body, your name, your story, your soul? Just as the ship floats onward through changing tides, we too move forward, piece by piece becoming someone new, shedding fears, gaining wisdom, letting go, rebuilding. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, or even yesterday. And yet there is a thread that weaves through every version of you, a quiet center, perhaps, or a light that never fully fades. Maybe it's not the wood that makes the ship, but the journey. Maybe it's not the planks, but the purpose. And maybe for us, it is not our face, our voice, or even our thoughts, but our presence, the awareness beneath it all, that stays with us like the wind behind our sails. As you sink deeper into rest, let these ideas swirl gently through your mind like soft clouds passing across a twilight sky. Feel the comfort of knowing that change does not mean loss, that becoming someone new doesn't erase who you've been, but builds upon it, like new boards placed carefully on an old frame. You can let go and still be whole. You can grow and still be true. You can drift and still be yourself. So let your thoughts loosen like knots untied. Let your worries dissolve like morning mist, and allow your breath to carry you through these calm waters of reflection. The ship of Theseus sails on, in you, in me, in every life that continues through change. You are not broken by what you've let go. You are shaped by what remains. And in this moment, as sleep gently approaches, remember that even in stillness, you are moving, growing, healing, becoming. Let yourself rest in that truth. Let the ship carry you through the night. And may your dreams be filled with quiet seas, starlit skies, and the steady rhythm of becoming. Let your body ease into the surface beneath you, as if you're gently sinking into a sea of clouds, held by something vast and soft and silent. Let the breath come and go like distant waves brushing an unseen shore. With each slow breath, the tension of the day unknots itself and slips away, and in this space, your thoughts can stretch into places they rarely go. Tonight, we wander into a paradox, not to solve it, but to experience its wonder. A man named Zeno once sat quietly, centuries ago, and questioned what it means to move, to cross a distance, to experience time. He imagined Achilles, the swiftest warrior of his time, racing a slow-moving tortoise. To be fair, Achilles lets the tortoise start ahead. Then, as the race begins, Achilles runs toward the tortoise's starting point. But in the time it takes him to arrive, the tortoise has crept forward. When Achilles reaches that next point, the tortoise has again moved a little farther. Zeno suggests that Achilles will never catch the tortoise because he must always reach the spot where the tortoise just was, and by the time he does, the tortoise will always be slightly ahead. It is a thought experiment, but one that challenges the idea of completion. If you divide space and time into infinite steps, how do you ever arrive at your destination? Perhaps, Zeno whispers, movement itself is an illusion. A perception stretched across moments too small to measure. Let this idea settle in your mind, not as a problem to figure out, but as a river to float down. Let it carry you. You may begin to realize how often you chase the end of things, rushing to finish, striving to arrive, and how, in that hurry, the present becomes invisible. But what if the journey is made only of now? Not steps, not progress, not finish lines, just the constant unfolding of this moment, followed by the next and the next in an endless gentle rhythm. Zeno offered another thought, the paradox of the arrow. Picture it, an arrow in mid-flight, released from a bow and slicing through the air. You expect it to move, to travel forward, but if you freeze time and examine one single instant, the arrow is not moving. It is still, completely still. In that tiny slice of time, it occupies one fixed position in space, and in the next frozen moment, it occupies another. Zeno argued that motion is never truly happening. It is just a collection of frozen frames. If nothing moves in a moment, and life is made of moments, then what is motion? How do we cross a room, run down a path, reach for a hand? Zeno invites us to consider that perhaps motion is not what we think it is. Maybe time is not a river we float through, but a gallery of images, and we only imagine the flow. These are quiet ideas, ones that don't need sharp answers. They are like drifting fog, soft, shapeless, but strangely beautiful. And here, as you lie still in the safety of night, maybe you feel something similar. Not a sense of rushing through time, but a kind of quiet expansion. No need to move, no need to reach, just being. Let your mind stretch into this puzzle, not to untangle it, but to rest inside it. The paradox doesn't want to trap you. It wants to remind you that the way we experience the world, as motion, as progress, as growth, is built on patterns we rarely question. Maybe rest is not the absence of motion, but its truest form. Maybe sleep is not a pause from time, but a return to timelessness. Zeno's ideas may seem distant, wrapped in the robes of old philosophers, but they speak to something very human, the urge to understand how we live inside moments, how we trust that one step leads to another, even when we cannot see the whole path. And when you let go of trying to solve the riddle, you might notice a gentle release in your breath, a softening in your chest, the feeling of being slowly untied from the day. Just as Achilles need not chase the tortoise forever, and just as the arrow still finds its target despite its frozen moments, you too are allowed to rest without needing to reach. The story continues without rushing. You are part of something vast and mysterious, and it carries you even when you are still. Perhaps the truth is this: we are always moving and never moving, always becoming and always being, always arriving and yet always here. There's no pressure now, no puzzle to complete, just the echo of ancient thoughts lingering like candlelight at the edge of sleep. Let them glow faintly and then fade, like stars dimming before the dawn. Let your mind become spacious, soft, and infinite, like Zeno's journey between points, endlessly unfolding, peacefully unresolved. In that vastness, you'll find your rest. Let the quiet settle over you, like a slow mist rolling across a still lake. Let your eyes soften, not just to the world outside, but to the thoughts within, allowing them to lose their sharpness, to float freely, gently, like fallen leaves drifting along the surface of a calm stream. There is nowhere to be, nothing to fix, and no conclusion you must reach. This moment belongs only to stillness. In this space, we will drift into a curious little doorway of logic, a riddle so simple in form, yet so bottomless in meaning. It has puzzled minds for over 2,000 years. It is known as the liar paradox. And it begins with a sentence. Just one small sentence. This sentence is false. That's it. That's the whole thing. Now, lean back into the rhythm of thought, slow and steady, and let's follow this thread without pulling too hard. The sentence says it is false. But what if it is? If it truly is false, then it is not telling the truth. But what is the sentence saying? That it is false. So if it's false, then it must be true. But wait, if it is true, and it says it is false, then it must not be true at all. And so the loop begins. Round and round it goes, twisting thought against itself, like a snake coiling with no head or tail, just an endless spiral. This sentence is false. It appears so innocent, but it leads you into an impossible mirror. And in that mirror, your own reflections begin to blur. What is truth? What is falsity? What happens when a statement refers to itself? Most sentences point outward, to the world, to facts, to people or places or things. But this one turns inward. It stares at itself. It tries to define itself from within. And in doing so, it creates a paradox, a contradiction that cannot be unraveled without fraying reality itself. Let your mind rest in the middle of that thought. You don't need to solve it. No philosopher ever truly has. Even ancient thinkers like Epimenides, who first proposed it in the form of all Cretans are liars, and he himself being a Cretan, found themselves tangled in its elegance. It is not a riddle with a prize at the end. It is a resting place. Like an Escher staircase, your mind can gently wander up and down, always moving, never arriving. And perhaps in this late hour, you too can begin to let go of the need to arrive. You can allow meaning to be soft and open-ended. Not everything needs resolution. Not every thread needs tying. The liar paradox teaches us this. It holds its mystery not to frustrate you, but to free you. In life, we often search for certainty, for clear yes or no, true or false, this or that. But truth isn't always a switch. Sometimes it's a spectrum. Sometimes it's a song with no final chord. And sometimes, as in this paradox, it's both and neither. The sentence collapses into itself, like a wave trying to describe its own shape while still moving. And perhaps we are like that too, trying to understand ourselves while still becoming, trying to speak about who we are while still unfolding. The more we describe, the more we realize how incomplete the words feel. The more we try to fix ourselves into a definition, a title, a role, a truth, the more we sense how quickly it slips away. Like the paradox, we are self-referential beings. We look inward to know ourselves, and the act of observing changes what we see. I am lying, the sentence says. But who is speaking? What is the voice behind it? What if the sentence doesn't need to be true or false, but just allowed to exist? Maybe that's the answer. Not in labeling, but in listening. Allowing contradiction without fear. Allowing not knowing without resistance. And as your breath slows and your body softens, you may notice how many paradoxes live quietly in the fabric of your daily life. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. The more you chase happiness, the more it slips away. The more you let go, the closer you feel. And here you are now, letting go of solving, of chasing, of labeling. Just breathing. Just drifting. Let your thoughts move through the paradox like a warm breeze through tall grass, stirring but not disturbing. Let each repetition of the sentence, this sentence is false, be like a wave on the shore. It comes, it fades, it returns. But you remain steady, safe, untouched by the storm of logic it brings. In this paradox, there is no villain, no error. It simply exists at the edge of language, reminding us that words are not always stable bridges to reality. Sometimes they're loops, and sometimes they're music, beautiful, haunting, unresolved. Let this thought wrap around you like a soft blanket of unknowing. Let it lull you, soothe you. There is no need to grasp at anything now. The night is here to hold you. The puzzle is not a cage. It is a cradle. You are not meant to fight it, only to rest inside its rhythm. In this dreamlike loop where truth and lies dissolve into one another, your mind begins to float freely, beyond definitions, beyond answers, beyond the need for either. Like the sentence, you are complex. You contain truths that contradict each other. You are strong and still tender. You are healing and still whole. You are full of questions and already enough. There is no paradox in that. Only humanity. Only being. And as the sentence fades, this sentence is false. Let it take with it the noise of the day, the judgments, the mental clutter. Let it spiral away, far off into the night. Let it echo once, then vanish. And let yourself settle deeper. Breathe in the stillness. Exhale the weight. You are here now. Beyond truth, beyond falsehood, beyond the need to decide. Only resting. Only being. The paradox has done its work. It has unhooked your mind from answers and returned you to the peace of questions. Sleep is near. Let it come. Let it carry you into a space where thoughts do not have to make sense. They just drift, like stars blinking in a sky too wide to measure. Rest now. You are safe in the loop. You are safe in the unspoken.